Hi, my name is Erica. Welcome back to my channel. For this glowy spring look, I'm starting out with my Melanie Mills Gleam Body Radiance, and I'm mixing that with the NYX Studio Perfect Photo Loving Primer. I'm mixing the two products together because one is going to give me nice blurred pores, and then the other is going to give me a nice luminous glow. For foundation, I'm using the Too Faced Born This Way in the shade Butter Pecan. I'm tapping it all over my face and then using a damp beauty sponge to blend it out. I like to take my time when I'm blending out my foundation to make sure that I really work it into the skin. So it's totally worth it spending the extra time to really blend out the foundation. I promise you the finished look will look so much more flawless. For concealer, I'm going into my Tarte Shape Tape in Tan Sand. I'm putting that right under my eyes, down the center of my nose, and in the center of my forehead. I'm blending it out with the same beauty sponge I used earlier, and then whatever's left on the sponge, I use to highlight the chin. For contour, I'm using my LA Girl Pro Concealer in the shade Espresso. I'm putting that on the cheekbones and along the forehead and then on the sides of the nose for a little bit of nose contour. I'm still using the same sponge to blend everything out. I'm just using the back of the sponge this time. To do a little more sculpting, I'm going into my Fenty Matchsticks in the shade Truffle. I found that these matchsticks work better when you warm them up on your hand and apply them from your hand versus putting them directly on the face. When I would use them directly on my face, it would kind of feel like I was either like moving the foundation around underneath or like wiping it off completely, so I didn't really care for that. Instead of a primer, I'm using the Tarte Shape Tape as the base for my eyeshadow. Then I'm going into my Fenty Matchsticks in the shade Caramel to slightly highlight and clean up the brows. With the brows cleaned up, I'm taking the beauty sponge and just making sure that the two concealers are blended together and there's no like line of demarcation there. For the eyes, I'm going back into my Perception palette and I'm starting with the shade Culture and applying it to the crease. I'm deepening the outer corner with a tiny amount of Played Out. With this dense eyeshadow brush, I'm taking this golden shade Diva and I'm putting it all over the lid. Then I'm using this flat brush to apply the same color to the lower lash line. Now I'm going into the brighter gold shade called TF, and I'm using that to basically outline my entire eye. At this point, I realized that Diva color wasn't as blended as I liked, so I just went back to make sure it was super blended out. I'm lining my waterline with this cream colored eyeliner to make my eyes appear bigger versus like if you were to use black, it would make them look smaller. And to make the gold around my eyes even more poppin', I'm going into my Fenty Beauty Killawatt Highlighter and Trophy Wipe and I'm outlining my eyes again. Now I'm going into my CoverGirl liquid eyeliner and I'm only using a little bit of this just to define the lash line. After adding a bit of mascara to my top and bottom lashes, I'm going into my Maybelline Fit Me Matte Poreless Pressed Powder. This is in the shade 330. It's like toffee caramel, I believe. And I like to use this because I like to set my foundation with powder before I go on to add other powder products. Now I'm going into my Bobbi Brown bronzer. This is in the shade Deep, and I'm going to use that everywhere I contoured. For blush, I'm going into my favorite blush. It's by Illamasqua, and it's in the shade Excite. It's a nice bright orange. And I'm going to apply that to the apples of my cheeks, and then I'm going to sweep it back towards my contour. This wouldn't be a bronzed goddess look without some highlights. So I'm going to go ham with the highlighter. I'm taking my Boomin' highlight from ColourPop and I'm sweeping that right above my contour and then across the temples. Pretty much with this look, you really can't have too much highlight. When I said I was going ham, I was not joking. So I'm going to layer that highlight with this Mírame highlight from Dose of Colors. And so I'm putting that really on just the high points. I'm going to put that on the cheekbones and then down the center of my nose. I'm also going to highlight my brow bone and my Cupid's bow. One thing I really love about the Fenty matchsticks is that they're multi-purpose. So I'm going to use my Fenty matchsticks in Rum, and I'm going to use that as a lipstick because I really want to give off that super glowy vibe. That's me realizing I totally forgot to put on lashes. So, there we go, much better. To finish off the lips, I'm going to top the Rum matchsticks with the Fenty Gloss Bomb in Diamond Milk. And last but not least, I'm going to set the entire look with the NYX Dewy Finish Setting Spray. And that's it. This is the finished look. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and thanks so much for watching.